Welcome to this session. I have spent a lot of time recently with Amit Goswami's brilliant book, The Self-Aware Universe, and have become much more conscious of the importance to me of the issue of what am I? At the very basic, very elementary places, am I a thing? And do I live in a universe which, at its most basic level, is made out of things? And I've come to the conclusion that my understanding of this plays a huge role in my ability to heal myself as I age. Now, we all know that as youngsters, most of us really don't have much in the way of health issues. We survive them, we're young, good, strong immune systems and so on. But, oh, I'm in my 70s, so is my wife, and at these ages, health issues are not necessarily so easily solved. And we find that our Western medicine, while it is brilliant in coping with emergencies, does not seem to be so able to help us cure these long-standing chronic ailments that occur with age. There's an old saying, if you only have a hammer, everything in sight is a nail. Seems to apply here. If the only kind of medicine you can practice is emergency medicine, then everything either is or should be an emergency. And honestly, I don't think that's an appropriate way to cure the chronic ailments of age. The Western method appears more to be one of coping with these. Well, of course, that helps generate income for these industries, but that does not necessarily help me. I am grieving. I am missing the presence of a very dear friend, Dr. Hulda N. Regehr Clark, who died in September of 2009, a couple years ago, is no longer with us. And she is the author of the books that first introduced and popularized to our modern world the concept of healing things with the use of frequencies, electromagnetic frequencies, literally to eliminate parasites and bacteria, viruses, and so on that are unwelcome in our bodies. I am the more conscious of this recently because of reading in Dr. Goswami's book about the importance of our own point of view about what we are at the most basic. Are we things or are we something else? Dr. Goswami's point very simply is modern quantum physics clearly shows, and did this over the objections of some of its own inventors, that we are not just things. I am reminded of Albert Einstein's complaint, "But God does not play with dice," in which he was basically voicing the statement that the world is made out of things. Probability has no application to things. Things obey laws. You push something and it moves. problem is atoms aren't like that. They are probabilistic until an observer actually observes them and forces them into a particular state that is one of their possibilities. What does this have to do with healing? By now, if you're used to me, you know that this is my fascination. It's very simple. A few sessions ago, I mentioned to you that I had asked and decided that many of the frequencies that I had used very successfully, in fact for a number of years, been doing it for more than 10 years, are no longer usable, no longer valid. They don't do anything. And so I found that it was appropriate and helpful, very helpful, to ask, well, what are the usable present frequencies that I can use? And I got good numbers and have produced great results. If I look back at Hulda Clark's lifetime, she is the inventor, for me, of this whole world. And so, in a way, I felt that I was following her gift. But more recently, I'm realizing that while she invented the idea and popularized it, when it came to asking the question, is it possible that frequencies might be changed over time? Maybe my frequencies are no longer valid. It was impossible for her to ask this question. As a result, she's dead. Why couldn't she ask it? She could not ask that question. She couldn't ask it. What stopped her? Because down deep she knew these frequencies were things. Things are like rocks. They don't change. And if these frequencies are, well, that's it, that's all there is to it. They obviously have to work. Well, they didn't. And she is gone from our midst now. So the point's very simple. If you really, at your very basic, most basic feelings, believe that you and all of the world around you is only things, my suspicion is you'll have a really hard time. You probably will not be able to heal the most difficult chronic problems in your life. Simply because you're not. You're made of something much deeper. And it shows up in the physics experiments I used to use with my own students, even in the most elementary level. I mean, after all, are you made out of electrons? Of course. Well, all right. What is an electron? Is it a thing? Well, okay, if it's a thing, what kind of thing is it? Maybe it's a particle. So let's ask a question. Okay, is an electron a particle? I can give that experiment. I can dictate it to you. The answer is, We can also ask another question using a different experiment. Is an electron a wave? The answer is yes. Well, then what is an electron? I don't think anybody knows. Any more than anybody knows what you are. I think there's something behind all of these, what they are. And that's the point. With that point of view, you can begin to ask the questions that will actually produce results. It's an important point to make. There are very few people out there today that are making it. I would like it to be of use to you. Thanks for listening. We'll talk again.